shaking.
Like personally in my collection, Ice Cube, BDP, Gang Starr, you know what I'm saying?
So
I mean, I roll with the hardcore, Run DMC, and that's just the way it is with me.
Okay, so you wouldn't want my old Vanilla Ice albums then? That wouldn't be of any interest to you?
Well,
Okay, now listen, we don't get hung up on that. Now, you've just finished touring with Anthrax.
yeah, you got a fly crowd here.
Yeah, they're a nice bunch of young people. You just finished, which is, I gather, what fly means, I think. You finished touring with Anthrax, and I knew they'd done a cover of one of your songs before, but I was surprised to think you were touring with Anthrax because I knew previously when you come over, you know, a friend of mine had been to see you live and you had a predominantly black crowd in the audience. He said this time he came and it was a largely white crowd, and I wondered whether you felt it was strange preaching as you do or singing as you do about black pride and very black issues to a largely white crowd.
No, all around the world, it just has something to do with the type of tour that it is. Us and Anthrax toured in the United States, and basically the UK European tour was an extension of that. We didn't come over here on a rap tip because they couldn't put a rap package together that wanted to come over here at the present time. So we'll come back over in June, and in March we're going to do something, the anniversary of the Sharpeville massacres in South Africa, so we'll be back in London on a black rap tip. But you know, you got to get a lot of rappers from the United States to come with you, and that's a lot harder than done. Yeah.
Now, I was interested in talking to you because there are interesting ideas in your work. There are actually a lot of interesting ideas. It's not the standard kind of poppy stuff. Not really since Gil Scott-Heron, I think there've been such, you know, someone prepared to deal with politics in the way you do. Just in broad terms, what's your attitude towards race relations in the States at the moment?
In the States, first of all, it's a pro-black stance. And at the same time, we've been in that country for 437 years, and we haven't got a due level of respect. Respect got to go both ways. There's always been a Eurocentric viewpoint that's been pushed out to everybody in this Western world, I guess that they call United States and Europe. And us black people here, you know, we've worked for our place here, so the due respect has to come the other way.
Let me bring Tony in here. Tony, do you think that that particular stance, but in general, Public Enemy's attitude is relevant to black people in this country?
Well, I'd like to ask Chuck D that. I mean, what have you seen in Britain that you feel is any way different?
What's different? Well, I know people tend to read into things quite a bit over here. Yeah. A little bit more in the States, you know, like for example, I call it the green light, red light theory. In the States, we say green mean go, red means stop, and yellow mean just watch your behind. You know, here they tend to say, well, because red, if I time it from green could possibly mean go, but maybe yellow means it's closer to stop, but it also means you might be ready to go. It's not all of that. Just don't look into it deep all the time. Yeah. As far as the black situation over here, it's increasingly getting better where it's, you know, I mean, getting better direction where, you know, it's a tighter network, but the upstep it a little bit more, it even has to be harder because, I mean, here you have the headquarters of racism of the world, and I call it England.
Now, why do you think, what is it about England then that is, as you said, the headquarters of racism?
Because based on its past and its history, colonialism and imperialism, in a barbaric way that agents from this country in its past took their Victorian principle into other lands and disrespected other people. You know, I mean, that's not a history to be proud of, and it was definitely built on murder and the lack of respect for other people and cultures. So,
do you not think the situation has changed, though? You are talking about history.
History has something to do on how we think in the present and where we're going to go in the future as far as respecting each other. I mean, I respect you if I already know about you in your past, but you might not know what you need to know about my history.
Yeah, that's true. We don't actually get taught much in the way of black history at our school.
It's not your fault.
Yeah. I didn't say it was my fault. I'm not taking credit for it. I don't know about that.
Can I say something? I feel that if you look at America, there's a bigger black population there. There seems on the face of it, you go in there and you see the adverts, you see a black presence, and you think, yeah, black people are making it. And you come, and if you look behind that, I think you see that in some ways the situation here and there is the same, you know.
Yeah. But I mean, what strikes me is when I went to America, I was amazed because it did seem to me like over here, you know, the majority of black folk you see on TV would be sports stars, and there are very few TV presenters, there are very few people working behind the scenes.
Yeah,
that's
one thing I noticed over here is that on a job level, black people are at a very low status ebb, you know. I mean, you still have an energy as far as people wanting to build their own businesses, but getting that opportunity, I don't think they can seize their opportunity as quick as we can seize them in the States. Now, we have the opportunity to seize it in the States, but because of genocide and the self-hate taught that we've been getting in the States, we don't seize it like we should. So that's why we call for a lot of unity as far as common belief.
Can I ask you something? On your last album, there's a track called Shut Them Down.
Mm-hmm.
And in there you're talking about corporations and how they're exploiting the black community, taking out things out of the black community and not giving anything back. Public Enemy set up really more as not only as a band, but also as a sort of community. In what way are you paying your black tax in that sense?
I'm paying my black.
In what way are you giving back?
Trying to tax the government because they got the real dollars. No entertainers. You stack all the black entertainers up, there's not enough dollars there for what the black community needs. Of course, you could start a youth center. Of course, you could start a program, send a couple people to college, but it's not enough. I mean, the government owes black people for all their free years of work that we've done. So that's what we try to tap in on, that real money.
Let me jump in there, because some people might be, so the more cynical people might think that the radical stance of Public Enemy is actually just a very neat way of making them stand out from the other rap bands you got out there, because you got De La Soul doing the kind of relaxed stuff, and you got PM Dawn, very hippie. And
I was here before both of them.
Yeah, but what do you do outside of the music? I mean, are you involved with political groups? I know that you are in many ways a follower of Louis Farrakhan. Are you supportive of the Fruit of Islam and groups like that?
Nation of Islam, Fruit of Islam, avid supporter. Love it because I'm a follower, because they have the best program, I guess, in the United States for self-sufficiency. We can't wait for handouts, even though we've been there. We got to do it on our own. So it's a self-pride thing. Pro-black doesn't mean anti-white. I know the question you ready to ask.
No, you don't. I wasn't going to ask that.
Does it mean anti-anything?
No.
We don't have time to be anti-anything.
What I was going to ask, Chuck, is are you a Muslim? Are you a Muslim?
Yeah, Muslim, let's not put all the hocus pocus around it. It's not like the rest of the religions of the world where there's all kinds of science and all this. You know, basically you submit to the world of God, you know, and to his wills. It's, you know, this is the only place we know where we can live, the planet Earth, right? So it should be a due respect for all its creations and everything on it. And check this out, it should be a respect for your fellow human being, because human beings are the only ones that we know we could reproduce ourselves the furthermore our existence. But somehow, some people came and thought some people was inferior to others, disrespected their fellow men and women, and also had a disrespect for the planet. That's why the planet is imbalanced right now with its nature, and that's why human beings are in danger.
Let me follow up just on a note here. In respect to you being a Muslim, I've read something that Mr. Farrakhan said about his faith, is that he believes that in the future, certainly we should follow the Muslim way, which is that if someone is a thief, they should have their hand cut off, in that kind of very literal eye for an eye sense. Is that something that you believe in as well?
Well, I believe that, you know, people that do black on black crime, like in the United States, or any type of crime in the United States, you know, they go shoot somebody and take their life. I don't believe that they could be repaired through the justice system. I just say you take their hands off. They ain't gonna commit no more murder like that. Yeah. I mean, but they'll still be living. Yeah. I mean, somebody, you know, if you saw somebody that had no hand,
what are they worried about?
You saw somebody that had no hand, you'd be like, oh, okay, I seen what you did, but at least you're still living. What can you do?
I mean, the new album, Empire Strikes Black. I mean, you seem to be moving away from not necessarily just talking about racism in the sense of the white man oppressing the black man, but you're actually looking inside the black community. Are you actually saying there that, in fact, most of the problems that black America faces is of its own making?
Not most of the problems, but a lot of the problems. And each and every album that we do are different from each other. So a lot of people say, I'm moving away. They don't know where I'm moving to. Each album is different from each other. Every single album I've done has been different from each other. So this is the topic of talk right about this time, is that a lot of the things that we have wrong with us, we got to repair ourselves. We got to put our team together before we actually go out and play ball.
How are we going to do that?
How are we going to do that? We got to know we're teammates. We got to know where we come from and come up with a game plan that's going to work for not just the majority, but some of the minority of us.
So you would say that Public Enemy have matured?
Matured? Let me see. I started this out when I was 25. I was mature already. So you develop you develop a point of communication, how to get across to the most people. But you know, I'm pretty sure that we was pretty good at it the day when we started. So.
Well, and still going strong. Congratulations on the single being so successful. Thanks for that very jolly tune.
Successful? What does that mean?
Well, it's 21 in the charts. It's better than Sam Fox did last time out.
Oh.
And, thanks for coming on the show. Chuck D and Tony Shore, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, guys. Tony, thanks very much. Thank you, Chuck D, and thank you, Tony Shore. That's it for part one. Coming up in part two, smart and not so smart drugs with Hook presenter Stuart Cosgrove. That's right after these important commercial messages.